the greencardguys.tv. My name is John Ting, your host, and I am an immigration attorney here in Houston, Texas. That's right, we have a physical office in Houston. You can find us, whether you want to hug us or complain at us, you can find us, okay? We have a Google profile page. We have between two locations profiles. We have over 300 five-star reviews. So check it out. If you're new to the channel, as you're flipping through here, stop right here, okay? Don't go anywhere else for at least 10 minutes. I do go live about 30 minutes, but really sometimes it's an hour because I love answering your questions. Want to make sure you're in a good spot, okay? Sometimes I can't help in a situation when the government sucks, okay? Other than maybe filing a lawsuit. So here's the deal. Welcome to drop a question, type it out in the comment section, all right? If you have a question, you don't have to ask me, can I ask a question? Just go ahead and drop it in there because by the time I have to go up and down, I might not be able to see your second comment. So welcome to the show. We're on several different platforms here because yeah. So again, if you're just now joining, my name is John Ting. If you're interested in a strategy session with our team members with Ting Law Group, all right, you can go to the profile page right up there and you click on that. Go ahead and follow in the meantime. And then right under my profile picture is a link. All right. And it's going to link and you're going to answer a few questions, really make it as easy as possible for you. Okay. You answer a few questions, get redirected to a page where you pay this amount. It's a reservation fee because there's been a couple bad apples. They scheduled and then no show. It's kind of weird. I thought they really would like to know more about their legal status, but to each your own. So it is a little self-defeating to the team when some people don't show up. So hopefully, if you pay that amount, you will show up. And so far, it's been working. So at the end of the day, folks, it's less than many other law firms and also less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks. I know it's wild. I'm not sponsored by Starbucks to say that. They're getting a lot of heat lately on their increased pricing. People really love their coffee. All right, let's get down to it. So here's the topic of the day. USCIS is delaying your case processing. Number one, you might be thinking, well, you've reviewed your My USCIS account and it says, ooh, estimated decision time is 1 week. Bullshit. BS. Okay, it's not true. If it happens for you, wonderful. Let us know in the comment section of that if they are so accurate that it actually happens in 1 week or 1 month, whatever it is. Okay, let us know. But every time I've called into USCIS hotline, 1-800-375-5283, they need to hire me as their spokesperson for that because I memorized it. But that's how many times I've called them over the years. I've always had to ask the representative, hey, what's this thing about, 1 week or whatever, it continual updates or stops updating that my clients can see. And they say, it's not accurate. Like, I don't know what people are talking about. They're aware of it because people ask them about it. But it's like the webmaster, someone in the background is like messing with y'all, okay? Attorneys, like if you have an attorney and you're asking your attorney about that and they're like clueless about it, it's because they truly are clueless, including us, because we don't have access to that. So if we don't have access to it, think about it. Like, why would USCIS even offer it to you? It's just messing with y'all and us too. And so it's just quite frustrating both sides. You know what I mean? So just telling y'all straight, pay no attention to that. If it's right and it's correct for you on the processing time in that sense on your online account, let us know. You're probably like a 0.05% in that sense. Okay. All right. Now, but truly, if there is a situation where your case is delayed and you're not sure if it's like what we call unreasonable delay, it's not 100% defined. It just depends on the case application and the stage of the case. So we have a chart that we use, the government has their own chart internally, and sometimes they can change it whenever they want. So if you want to double check if your case is ready for a lawsuit, we call it mandamus lawsuit based on unreasonable delay, contact us. Okay, go to the link right up there. Now, YouTube and Facebook, I think you go down here. All right. Because don't be shy or ask in the live show right here. The thing about off like sharing information here and you want me to answer your questions, I know it's hard, especially on TikTok and Instagram. Try to share as much information as possible because it is difficult to go up and down if I ask like a follow-up question. All right, so let's see here. Thanks for your questions. Let me slide this over on TikTok. I'm going to go back and forth between the different platforms. And by the way, on TikTok, at least, they've been hiding some comments. Not that many on my channel on the live show, but don't worry. You don't if you can't see your comment, you're like, where the hell did my comment go? It's there. I can see it. I just need to hit approve to show everyone. Yeah, please don't spam. Don't copy and paste, please. All right, so let's answer some questions. Um, you got a pending felony case. Can you still appeal for your citizenship application decision? Well, no, because you have a felony case that's pending. So because it's pending, that's probably why they denied it because they want to see the outcome of your case, whether it's a misdemeanor or a felony, before they make it this. If they were to approve it, aside from that, okay. Hopefully that helps. So, should you appeal? You're going to waste your money. They're still going to say, we need the disposition documents, meaning the documents about the outcome in your criminal case. So, it's just no, I mean, that's my opinion, but maybe talk to another immigration attorney. Up to you on that one. Good morning, Stephanie. What's up? Okay. Would a work permit be approved very quickly if the sponsor doesn't meet the income requirements? So, okay, I see what you're saying. So, can a work permit be approved even if a sponsor doesn't meet the minimum poverty guidelines? Okay, so the answer is it's a different track. So the application work permit has no information related to the sponsor. So hypothetically, that should still be approved regardless about the 864 form. And we've seen it. We've had clients still get approved for work permit. Great question. I mean, all the questions are great, of course. Oh, it's lagging for y'all? Oh, dang. Okay, it says good connection right now. Okay, Sarah on TikTok. If your VAWA was denied, do they revoke your EAD immediately? Yeah, they don't. They're not going to come to your house pick up your EAD, but on the letter, in a denial letter, it should say any other benefit you received in the I'm just paraphrasing. Benefit you received in the meantime, such as employment authorization, EAD, work permit. It's it's no longer in use or no longer valid. But does that mean you tell your employer? No, don't tell your employer. That's just my 2 cents personally. By the way, I have to tell you here, y'all know I practice immigration law. I'm a licensed attorney, okay? Because of my state bar, and I'm sure all 50 states have their state bar says this. We have to tell you as a disclaimer, this is legal information, okay? But it's not legal advice. The key difference is that if you want to verify something, to the extent that you're going to rely on it, you need to schedule a strategy session with an immigration attorney one-on-one. Because the nature of how these live shows work, there could be more information that we need to properly assess it for you. So it's hard to give a full context in few characters. But I try my best. Let's see here. Okay, just like Candy on TikTok, NVC stage was transferred to Dubai. What is the wait time looking like? Unfortunately, just be straight up front again, like anything else. There is no timing chart per consulate or per embassy. So the key thing here is that you set NVC stage. So you want to make sure that your documents have been uploaded to the Department of State portal, CEAC.state.gov. I say this every time someone mentions NVC and wondering about the wait time because there's been a few people that we've talked to and we mentioned that, and they're like, "What are you talking about, portal? What are you talking about the ceacs.state.gov?" And we're like, "Ooh, ooh, you just wasted like 6 months to a year." And yeah, I just feel bad. So I feel very like it's very important to share that. If you haven't paid those fees to start your DS-260 application, then you know that you need to do that ASAP because you need to do all that, and then your case is going to get documentary qualified, which is received by email, okay, to your inbox to be in queue for the visa interview. Okay, let's see. It still says good the connection. All right, Yusuf. Hope you're doing well as also. Your question is, can a F1 student uh, fly domestically within US if her F1 was terminated? Is that what you mean? I think that's what we mean. If F1 was terminated, as far as I know, I mean, even for undocumented persons, they can travel domestically and don't just show a regular like ID with a photo ID for TSA purposes. Okay, but otherwise, yeah, definitely do not fly outside the United States. Okay, and don't travel to a city like Buffalo, New York, where it's within 100 miles of the Canadian international border or close to Mexico either. Okay. Let me hop on over to YouTube right here. Um, okay, test 007. That's possible. But sounds like you need to talk to an attorney one-on-one about that because it just depends on timing. Okay, Romar, our grandparents can petition? No, grandparents cannot sponsor to grandchildren, if that's what you mean, unfortunately. They could be a co-sponsor financially, but not as the main sponsor. Maybe through adoption when the child is under 16, a grandchild is under 16, but not aside from that. I don't know any other way the grandparents can petition. Winder, you got an I-130 RFE response was received by USCIS. Interview scheduled and canceled on Sunday last week. What next? Just got a San Jose field office. Okay, it happens. It could have been a glitch. Could have been truthfully that's what happened, and then maybe whoever was going to be the interviewing officer maybe decided to have the day off. It could be a whole slew of reasons, but it's likely not because your case is bad or anything, if that's what you were concerned about. Now, you said I-130 RFE response. Did you file 485 also? Okay, the only reason they would, if you only file the I-130, the only reason someone would have an interview on I-130 only is if you are a person who's in removal proceedings. Otherwise, um, there should not be an interview. Okay. Alrighty. Now onto Instagram here. Thanks for the questions. What's up, y'all? Hope you're doing well. If you're new to the channel, my name is John Ting. I manage a immigration law firm where we secure your legal status so you can live and work in America legally. Go figure. All right. So I thought, you might need to be clarify that for some people. Um, let's see here. Okay. Francis. Francis, you went for your spousal visa interview on December 2023. You were placed in AP. Since then, whenever you reach out, they'd say that they'll tell you to exercise patience. No son of a guns. How about they exercise some hmm, interviews in interview in Nigeria? Yeah. I react a certain way because I hear very often certain consulates across the world are They're very slow in these scenarios. Like they finally you finally get the interview. You get there. It's like 5-10 minutes, and then you're like, oh, it's good to go, right? Like I should get my visa like today, tomorrow, next week, and they just drag it out. And yeah, yours is in December 2023. Should you keep waiting? So right now it's May. The earliest we file these days for mandamus when a case is abroad, the interview is abroad, is minimum 6 months. And even I would recommend waiting a little longer, unfortunately, but minimum 6 months. Okay, because we want to prevent a situation where the government U.S. attorney is going to file a motion to dismiss. All right, it doesn't happen often, but if it's going to happen, it's more likely for cases that are abroad. Um, And so because we do this every day, filing lawsuits, we have seen and work with other colleagues as well. We have seen an affidavit, a letter by a State Department employee that handles, to some extent, the background checks. And so, unfortunately, State Department does rely on a subcontractor company to handle some of the background checks, and there's no accountability. There's no freaking accountability, and so I believe that is the reason why this AP is so slow because there's no accountability, there's no metrics. The U.S. government is not Department of State is not going to say, "Hey, subcontractor, you need to get me 50% of the applicants that I sent to you last month." I highly doubt that. There's no incentive for the government to do that. So that means mandamus lawsuit is the only option. Okay, after you wait a certain amount of time. Okay, back to Jazz Winders. You sent some follow-up comments here, and get back to TikTok. Thank you so much for everyone's trust and patience. Jazz Winder said no 45 file because case and removal proceeding. I'm enclosed. Got it. Okay, so you need to get that recalendared and dismissed. That's critical. Okay, and your wife's a citizen. Yeah, you enter a B1, B2. So Jazz Winder, do you have an attorney help you with the court case to get that recalendared? We call it motion to recalendar and this for termination or dismissal. Okay. Knock on wood, we'd be very fortunate with cases in this and for this kind of specific facts and to get it put back on the docket, we call it, and then get it dismissed with proof of your petition filed at least. All right, let's see. E on TikTok, how long for IR DQ'd April? You got DQ'd in April 10th, so you got some time. Yeah, is that Jordan? You said I'm on Jordan, so yeah, it's gonna take some time. I would say minimum in general, at least in the Middle East, minimum 6 months. Okay. Yusuf wanted me to repeat. What was your question? Let me scroll down. By the way, if you're just now joining, my name is John Ting. If you have commented on TikTok and you don't see your comment, don't worry, I can see it. So you don't have to copy and paste it. It's just hidden on your side, I believe. So Yusuf on TikTok to repeat, just because I was able to see your second comment. Can a student F1 student fly domestically when the status is within the U.S. when her status is terminated? It's really about TSA at this point domestically to make sure you got a photo ID. But keep in mind, Real ID Act is taking effect May 2025. So I mean that's 1 year from now. But states are it might be difficult to get if that person, the student, has to renew the driver license or some kind of ID. That's going to be probably difficult to travel eventually. But for right now, it's fine. Just don't get close to within 100 miles of an international border because there could be border checkpoints. Okay. And on TikTok, in the U.S. on holiday visa, America has holiday visa. I know you're probably a lot of people. A lot of people are used to saying holiday Fortunately, America, we got to work to the bone. I don't know. We don't. Your citizen daughter sponsored you, how or filed for you. How long will it take? Well, we have some strategy here. If you enter with a visa recently, on but by the sound of it, you say your daughter, so U.S. citizen over 21, you might not have to leave the U.S. But let's chat for more, okay? I say might because your situation could be different. But we've had cases, clients who are immediate relatives per USCIS definition. I don't mean like nucleus, okay? Because that family nucleus could be larger than definition, include more people than USCIS definition of immediate relative. When immediate relatives have entered on a visa, I'm not here to encourage it, but people have overstayed their visa and able to adjust in the United States. Now, I repeat, if you want legal advice one on one, you do need to consult with our team one on one. Okay. So you go to the profile picture, click the link, answer a few questions, and self schedule. Edgar, your question is if you're going to Puerto Rico with your wife, but she what? She lost her green card? What do you mean she doesn't have her green card? She lost it? You can she if she is a resident, then she could still go to and she filed for a renewal or to replace the lost green card, the I-90 form. You have to call in the 800 number 375-5283 and request a stamp in I-551 stamp as proof in the passport that she is a resident for travel purposes. Okay, check that out. I'm trying to help y'all travel. There's a bunch of travel questions. It seems like. Okay. Basit Khan, you passed the N400 interview. Your case was transferred to another USCIS office. 751's pending. Um, how long approved? How long until approval? Well, Basit, I'm sure the interviewing officer for your N400 knows about your 751, right? I would hope so. And typically, they don't actually allow you to continue the interview or proceed with that interview if they don't have the 751 case file with them. So I'm curious, did they actually let you do the interview and they didn't have the 751 case file or they did? But let's say in a scenario they did have the case file for both, then it's hard to say. I mean, I don't imagine a situation they would send an approval letter for both cases the same day, right? But it could be a couple weeks, hopefully. That's our experience. Okay, let me hop down here on Instagram. Francis, your follow. I didn't see your follow comment here. You guess it's because of the age difference between you and your wife over 30 years. Not everyone in AP administrative processing is because of the age difference. Very few people are have the age difference like that. So it might not be because of the age difference. But I'm impressed. 30 years different. Way to go. Way to go, Francis. High five on that one. Okay, so let's see here. I'm just hopping on all these different platforms here. Your sister's Mimi Amara on TikTok. Your sister's case is delayed by 5 years. What can you do? Um, 5 years. Now, if you're the one that filed the petition, okay, for F4 family preference, those F4 family preference tend to take a lot longer. So, is it truly delayed by 5 years, or is it still under like it's like on track? But yeah, I would have questions on that because usually, even regardless of country, it usually takes a minimum 10 years after you file a petition. So let's see. Okay, Saucy. How long is USCIS processing for I-130 for parents of U.S. citizen? At least 12 months. It could be shorter. It is shorter when, on average, when the parent is in the United States. Oops, let's see. Is a process going faster for I-130 recently? Seems to be the same for us. It just depends on the case scenario, whether the person's abroad or not, or in the U.S. That's the key difference. Okay. Wendy, I would definitely need more information for your question, but Wendy's question is, can you appeal a decision if you got denied because you did not have an immigrant visa? And I think I understand the context of your situation. You correct me if I'm wrong, but especially if you have a sponsor that's a family preference category, and you file a 485. I don't even know what you filed. So, folks, let me know. It's more helpful if you let me know what you actually filed, maybe the form number. That could be very, very helpful. Or if you just put AOS, that means adjustment of status in the United States, or I immigrant visa because you're abroad or something. So, or IR, IV. But yeah, maybe your sponsor is a resident, Wendy, and then because of that, it does not waive unlawful presence. Only when you're married to a U.S. citizen, that automatically waives unlawful presence. Okay. With that being said, and also the issue is that, yeah, you do need to, if you are sponsored by a resident, you do need to have maintained immigrant, your non-immigrant status. You cannot fail to maintain status if you're here and sponsored by a resident. Someone had a silly comment asking me how much am I being paid by the puppet administration. Actually, I think it would be an honor to work in administration, but I don't think I would be paid that much. I don't think the government values my opinion, but I appreciate it. Thanks so much for the question. I have a lot of opinions, as you can tell. So it would be nice that Congress. Hey, I don't mind if Congress wants to invite me to testify. I'm happy to do it. Hit me up on TikTok or any of the other channels. All right, I'm just scrolling down to get to the next question here. John on TikTok asks TV's approval percentage. I'm not sure what the US is. I don't have the data in front of me right now. Fortunately for us, it's 100%. But of course, it takes. We don't accept every request. Do PDS get approved easily? I'm not sure exactly what you mean. PDS. Do you mean TPS, temporary protected status, or prosecutorial discretion? Um, since I don't know, I'm not going to speculate what you're actually asking. We're located in Houston, Texas, and yes, we do have a physical office. Happy to help. Check us out. We do have a Google profile with over 300 5-star reviews. Okay, I'm just scrolling down. TikTok tends to scroll it down. Okay, there we go. I think I'm here. Does anyone? Someone else does me on TikTok asks, does anyone recommend a lawyer to petition a relative outside of the United States? Depends what the relationship is. Um, if that person meant, should you hire a lawyer or not? I mean, I got a video on that on the channels that gives you a better idea on that. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so maybe I think this percent PD approval percentage. I think you mean motion to dismiss. It's hard to say percentage. Every case, especially with related to court, can have so many different scenarios. Um, but for us, the cases that take the longest to get any traction are cases with the removal order already in place. Okay, but cases that are maybe like what we call admin closed or still active, fortunately, 100%. Okay, to get that dismissed. If we didn't, how we think about it, about cases and offering services, if we don't believe it can be possible to get where you need to go in terms of legal status to get that approved, we wouldn't offer a quote. But yeah, in terms of PD, if you had a prior removal order and you may recall or not, but some documents may even say it from maybe an immigration judge order or decision order mentions something about you not being found credible. Basically, you lied or they think you lied in the immigration court case. It's going to be very difficult to get the agreement from Department of Homeland Security to get it agreement to get it dismissed. Okay, so hopefully that gives you some context. All right, let me hop on over on this YouTube, answer those questions. Jaswinder said, yes, you have an attorney. He said, once I-130 approved, he's going to ask the judge to terminate and file. I don't know if I'll wait because we've been able to get cases dismissed even when it's been pending. And now that you had some kind of letter saying interview scheduled, I mean, now it says canceled, but um, the thing is, you want to consolidate the interviews essentially. There's no sense in having two interviews, one for the I-130 now, and then another one in the future for the 485. So, I mean, every attorney may have a different recommendation, but I would go ahead and ask Department of Homeland Security attorney first if they would be willing to join the motion to dismiss, even with the pending I-130. And then if yes, then file the motion, the joint motion. So it doesn't hurt to ask. Okay, how long is it taking to process 485 for family based? Is that marriage or something else? But I mean, generally 12 months, but a lot of our cases when it's marriage based to a U.S. citizen, um, average 5 months. Okay. Let's see here. Jahon D? What's the difference between a U.S. citizen filing for I-130 and another filing of I-130? What do you mean? Like another relationship? What's the difference in what regard? Processing times? That's hard to say. That's also service center. But okay, Shahira on YouTube, your son has joined the army, but he's 18 now. Do you have to wait until 21 to fix your papers? Yes, 21 years old as a U.S. citizen, son or daughter. Okay, and please thank your son for his future service. All right, let me hop on over to the next platform here. Hope y'all doing good today. It's a bit slightly gloomy here in Houston, Texas. Hope everything's going good on your side. Okay, GoNut on TikTok. Letter from doctor that you cannot get, said that you cannot get required vaccines without causing an issue. Well, what vaccines? Because at least with, yeah, you still need to take COVID-19 vaccine, unfortunately. But maybe there's an exception that where maybe you don't have to. You still have technically. You still have to file a waiver 601 if you're not able to take certain vaccine that would normally be required by USCIS and CDC. So even though we're not in a pandemic anymore for quite a while, you still have to take the code someone seeking immigrant visa, aka green card. You still have to take the COVID-19 vaccine, as far as I know so far. So even though you may have a letter from a doctor, that's great. You likely will still need to file a waiver. But if you don't have to, let us know, okay, Gona? Because that could save you quite a bit. I think 900 something dollars. Chai Liu, how long does the process take for fiance visa? It's hard to explain in a way because there's so many different, there's several segments of the case, but the K1 visa petition, we just had one approved last week. And I think we believe we filed that in mid-May. I'm sorry, not mid-May. It's not even mid-May yet. Mid-January. So what is that? 4 months about. So that's good. But yeah, average 3 to 5 months for fiance petition so far in 2024. Last year it would take longer, but that's only step number one. The rest of the steps it will take longer. Okay, Babe Blonde on TikTok. You filed for your child in January 2024 and who's in Africa. How long will it take for it to be approved? What did you file? A petition? Probably 12 months, but that's only step number one. Okay, Raul on TikTok filed for asylum in 2016. Nothing until today. What do you mean today? You mean just as of today? Any idea when you get an interview? Um, Look, we just had an inquiry from someone yesterday told us that they have been waiting for 10 years. They filed for asylum 10 years ago and still no interview. That's ridiculous. We've had it ranging from people that have been waiting for 4 years, 6 years. Yesterday was 10 years. Okay. At the minimum wait time of 4 years, which which is actually you. You're at you're at roll, you're at 8 years. So at minimum 4 year wait time, you can file a lawsuit. Okay. With our help. It'd be our pleasure to assist you. Minimum 4 years and then get an interview after that. Average 2 to 3 months. Okay. So, but I do recommend, I don't know if most attorneys will say this who help with mandamus lawsuit. We hope that you are confident in your asylum claim. Because if you just want to get the interview over with, but you're not confident in your claim, I don't think it makes sense to file a lawsuit. Okay. You being confident in your claim, of course, is different than the legal standard and the approval rates by USCIS or the court. But you have to, at the very least, be confident and remember the details of your claim. Because after you file a lawsuit based on asylum, seeking asylum interview and or decision, it's going to happen pretty quickly. Okay, let's see here. Tuli on YouTube, son petition for you, and still 5 months for 45. Yeah, I mean, I would say in general, 12 months. When an adult child sponsors their parents and the parents are in the US, average 12 months, okay, from start to finish. Oh, okay, Jahon D, I see your follow-up question. What's the difference between a US citizen versus a green card holder spouse filing the petition? A hell of a lot. Okay, so if the person, the immigrant or foreign national, is in the United States, then it only waives the unlawful presence if the spouse is a US citizen. If the spouse is a resident, the policy manual does not waive the unlawful presence, which thereby requires either the permanent resident needs to become a citizen, or if that person is, then you need to be ready to file a waiver 601A for unlawful presence. And that means that immigrant spouse, has to go abroad for the interview. So it would really make sense that the spouse who's a resident become a U.S. citizen. Hopefully that's a quick lesson right there, Joan D. Anon, that's a big webinar type question. I'm not going to go the whole thing, but basically 601A is for people. I mean, it's not one. First of all, some things are not so much about like, can I choose this or can I choose that? It's like just based on the facts of your situation. So 601A waiver form is for people who are in the United States and have overstayed their visa or entered without a visa and here, of course, in the United States unlawfully. So that's the 601A that was created under the Obama administration, which was very helpful, except for the fact that to be a qualifying relative, adult children do not count, even though adult children can file the petition for their parents. So they missed the mark on that one. So pretty much everything else is the 601A. I'm sorry, 601 waiver. Okay, let's see here. Next question. Shob, your 485 is still processing since 300 days. Oh, okay. Oh, so almost a year. Oh, 10 months or so, right? Your I-130 is approved long back. Okay, that's great. Your wife's a green card holder. Yeah. So I know y'all get a lot excited. I've been getting a lot of questions about green card holders, spouses filing for another spouse. That's good to start. But Shob, do you have non-immigrant visa? If you don't, your 485 is going to result in likely a denial because if you don't have proof of maintaining your status currently, you just wasted your fees on the 485 and all that time. Okay. So it really is in the best interest of the spouse who's a resident holder to apply to become a citizen ASAP. If you need our assistance for that, you know where to go. Click the form, click the link for the form, and schedule with us. Okay, let's see here. Let me switch over to different platforms. Shobdi Max on TikTok. Your case is stuck after interview F2A category, but you switched to CR1. Ooh, but 3 months waiting. So, as far as I remember, switching is automatic. So even if you want to, switch back, you don't get that choice. Okay, can't go back and forth. But here's the other thing. If you have children who's also included in that, and then with your spouse, for example, um, that's problematic because when the sponsor is a U.S. citizen, you have to file a new petition for the child. Okay, um, so essentially resets the clock on that for the child. Okay, let's see here. Sasan on TikTok, still in at AP for a year for your dad. What's the solution? Mandamus lawsuit. It's been a year. So you're AP. That means he already had the interview. And I suspect everyone that tell us about AP, if they got a request for DS 5535 form or any other document, which most of the time the consular embassy does not even ask for more documents. They just put your case file on the side, and they always claim background security check. I don't know. I feel like it makes sense to me. Here goes my opinion to Congress, okay, or State Department at least, is that I feel like it shouldn't be some kind of complicated background check. Like for our clients, we can get the background check at least FBI results in 24 hours. So I don't know. Of course, we don't have access for countries outside the United States, but it's just like things can work faster if it really needed to. But of course, U.S. is number one superpower, number one world superpower, but they don't want to act like it when it comes to immigration. So yeah, Sasan, let's talk about lawsuit. Mandamus lawsuit, okay? Tex Mex Calentano 93. What do I think of the probability of the new parole in place program they want to introduce? Yeah, I just saw that came out news about that. I think April 23rd or something from Biden administration. We've looked at our other ILA organization notes and platform. No other information yet on that, but it does look really good because I believe, from what I understand, the parole in place program, there already is one, at least with the military veterans. Okay. But this one, This gonna make it expansive. Pro in place PIP would be a game changer that I don't believe requires Congress. That would be good. That would be real good. And isn't that interesting? Really good timing by the Biden administration to announce this a few months before the election. Because people who are conservative are not going to vote for Biden anyway. So I mean, good. I mean, if anything, good timing, I suppose. If the petitioner does not show up to the interview due to divorce, does the applicant can get deported? Not necessarily. You're talking about the 485 interview, but you're asking hypothetically. So hypothetically, that other person, the immigrant, not foreign national, needs to be proactive if that interview has not happened yet. Okay, and I would just go ahead and withdraw the 485 if I were that foreign national immigrant. If you already know you're separated, which I would hope so, then there's no reason to have that 485 continue to an interview. So if the interview has not happened yet, you might as well sign off on a letter say, please withdraw your 485. But again, there's another good example to chat with the lawyer one on one. Okay, on that to get some assistance. Alrighty, let's see here. Okay, I can answer a couple more questions here. Can you travel? BB Medina, can you travel to Canada as a U.S. permanent resident with just passport and green card? As far as I know, you don't. I don't know Canadian rules, but you don't. You shouldn't need anything else. Okay. By the way, folks, if you're a resident or a United States citizen, there's an app called for travel purposes in to get in and out of the United States, or I mean, get back, return into the United States. At customs line, you you can go to a separate line. It's called the. I think they have signs that say app, but it's the mobile custom border protection mobile passport app. I think you just type in passport in your app store, it'll just show up. But I think they call it for short as MPC. Okay. A hot tip there, because when we go through the airport, I mean, it's very quick in that sense. You don't have to wait 30 minutes to an hour. It's very quick. And I think they have some tracking mechanism that I haven't ever had to show my phone, the app, the code or anything, because they're always just like, okay, you're good to go. Or like they ask, like, did you bring any food or something? Even though the old school form, the long form, you just do it on the app. It's really easy. Okay, just when you touch down to wherever you're returning or where you returned. Let's say Houston, Texas. You open the app and you click like that you're here, submit the form, and then it's going to ask you to take photos of your family, whoever you're with. Okay, you have to do the photos every time because you get grow out your hair, your face changes, or not face, but your hair. Okay, so let's see here. If your asylum is administrative closed, do you accumulate unlawful presence? As far as I know, only when the asylum application has been denied, then that stops the unlawful presence. If it stops the clock in the sense of regarding asylum, that's related to the work permit. But I don't believe that's related to the unlawful presence. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Anon says if you're flying to Canada and you're a green card holder, then you need a transit visa. Okay, that's what. Thank you, Anon. So, yeah, right, a visa. Like, I don't know the rules of Canada in terms of their visas. So, thanks for letting me know, Anon. So that hopefully should have been helpful to the other person I just answered, and I can't even see the comment. Ashi Authentic on TikTok. If your spouse did a part-time job only earning $10,000, I'm assuming annually, and you get an affidavit, is that okay? I don't, what do you mean by affidavit? Like a letter from someone else? Then that means your spouse who's a sponsor needs to have a co-sponsor or a joint sponsor. Um, yeah, there's I have a video on YouTube, greencardguys.tv. You can search what's it called? Affidavit support or minimum poverty guidelines, and I have more information about that there. Um, Shob on YouTube, your wife is just 2.5 year green card holder. And when can she apply for citizenship? Well, 5 year mark. 6 months before the 5 year mark. Okay, so 4.5 months. Oh, she got her GC from through her parents. Yeah, I see. Okay. Um, you're the one that already filed the 485. So even though you could file the I-130, the 485, if anyone, I mean, I repeat this information quite often, even in the same live show, because I don't want you all have to waste your fees on the 485. It's highly unlikely that USCIS will administratively close your case on the 485, just like hold it, basically, put it inactive for now. They'll likely deny it since if you don't have proof of current non-immigrant visa. Okay, sorry to hear that. Thule, I-130 was approved last year, so do I mean we need to wait 12 months after 485 approval? No, let me go back to your prior comments here. 5 months, okay. No, when I was saying 12 months, so when it's 485, it's normally 18 months to file a lawsuit if it's still pending. Because after your 485 is approved, then you should get the actual residency. Um, so this is a good example where I can answer things quickly, but it's really best to schedule a session with us. Okay, if you're interested in our services. But it sounds like Tula, you don't need anything yet, because still a little bit early in that sense. But I think you're the parent, is that right? So yeah, cases with parents take longer than ones with marriage to U.S. citizen. Okay, get more comments. Thank you so much. Thank you for your trust. Let's see if I can answer them. Okay, well, some I don't answer because I just answered it and it sounds very similar to someone else. So again, please don't think I'm trying to skip you. I just try to answer a different question. TT on TikTok, can an RFE delay a work permit? Well, RFEs typically are not. I don't think I've ever received an RFE based on work permit, but maybe you got the RFE based on a petition or 45. If that's the case, no, it would not delay the work permit. It should not, because it's like what we call like separated workflow with the government, even though we file everything at the same time. Um, I love cats. How often do we win your cases? Are there such thing as immigration lawyers winning all the time? Yeah, I'm sure, because we're in control of accepting or declining services for some people. But yeah, I mean, I've lost a few times, but it's very rare, fortunately. Um, because if I don't think someone's going to be able to win from the outset, if the facts don't possibly match up to, not just possibly, the ones that is more likely to be possibly denied, if anything, is when someone's in has a court case. Those are way more difficult than significantly more difficult because just there's so many more variables on that. Alma on TikTok, you would like to ask what should you do next? Because your marriage failed. I'm sorry to hear that. You have conditional green card. Okay, well that's good. You got the CR. So you need to file. Um, the waiver, the 751 waiver. Okay, we're happy to help with that, but it's very important and file it timely within 3 months before the 751 expires. Okay, before it expires, very, very important. Okay, folks, really appreciate it. I do have to head into a meeting. Thank you so much. Okay. If you want to get in touch with us in the future, I do try to go live every day. I won't be able to do it at the same time tomorrow. I have a 90-minute meeting tomorrow around that time, but I'll try to go live in the morning. I'll try my best tomorrow morning. So stay tuned, follow, okay, on a respective platform so that you don't miss a beat. And I really appreciate the questions. I apologize I couldn't get through all of them. And I'm just trying to go fast, but it's hard. It's hard. All right. Y'all have a good one. Thank you so much. Y'all know what to do.